Still started. Whatever.
I gotta go paste it in all my fucking chats.
Wow, Geronimo Allison is active?
Oh no, my Alan Lazard.
Holy shit.
That's okay, it's just one guy. Alan's still gonna play.
Yeah, but I have some Lazard. I need to find out where.
I have him everywhere.
Well, I meant in DFS.
Alright, someone check, make sure all the audio is good.
Let me refresh these. Wow.
Oh wait, fucking Marquez and Allison are active? Oh, fuck
Yep.
me. I'm gonna lose this week in Lion King.
Well,
I gotta...
that's a little bit easier.
I have Allen in every fucking lineup too.
Twitch looks good. Checking YouTube.
I gotta change all my DraftKings lineups now. Oh shit. I love how they didn't play at all. Either. Like I thought MVS would play, but what the fuck?
Alright, YouTube looks fine. Twitch looks fine.
Whatever, I have to keep Benir here. What's going on, guys? If you're enjoying me freak out because the Packers wide receivers are playing. Twitch chat here. YouTube. Twitch chat here. Just get the little pop out chat. Just put that there. Put that here. Put that here. Alright. So the first start sit talk is Amari Cooper. We got AJ, we got Kramer, we got Tony here, so we can all weigh in a little bit. Are you confident that he's going to play tonight? Because if he's going to play tonight, you're obviously putting him in your fucking lineup. Because he might score 100 points if he does play.
Everything I read, he's supposed to be active.
What about you guys?
Yeah, he's got a quad injury. It's quad/ankle expected to play. That's a little bit scary just because it's a soft tissue muscle, possibly.
Yeah.
So I mean, he could just go out there and pull a Sammy Watkins. So, but I feel like if you have him, you're starting him. I would start him no matter what against the Eagles. He might be out there for just 20% of the plays and re-injure himself and still have fucking 14 points.
Yeah, that's very true. AJ, are you playing Amari Cooper? Are you taking the risk?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
The Eagles secondary is so bad. Like, you have to play Amari Cooper. Like, we have to assume he's playing right now. There hasn't been any damning news yet. So, I mean, that's what the Eagles do. It's whether or not it's on purpose or not, I don't think it is. I don't think their game plan is to invite teams to air it out on them every single week. But that I'm all over Cooper. I'm all over Gallup. Not all over Zeke. I think this is going to be his usual 16-point game where we're not seeing that 30-point explosion out of Zeke like we want. But the passing attack is going to be in full effect for Dallas. And I'm going to be in on it.
All right. So there you go. I was just seeing what your concern levels with him, with you guys and him playing. I don't know. I feel like I'm the most concerned. I feel like he might be a surprise inactive, but I read a good tweet.
Did he practice at all this week?
I think he practiced
just Friday.
Maybe limited Friday. I can look it up. But
isn't Jalen Mel supposed to play finally for the Eagles? Not that matters.
I don't think that matters. but
they're
yes.
susceptible all over the field.
Um,
Ronald Darby's like been out for a while, hasn't he?
yeah,
It's like their only real good corner. Not real great, but good.
decent. Yeah.
Compared to starting, yeah.
So this second player we're gonna talk about, it just changed quite drastically on whether you're gonna play him, and that's Alan Lazard. He kind of came onto the scene last game. He looked great in that fourth quarter. It looked like Aaron Rodgers was hyper targeting him. He said he loves him in practice. He begged the coaches to put him in there, and then when he was in there, he got targets and a touchdown. So originally, without any of the starting wide receivers, MVS, Geronimo, or Devontae Adams, I had him in every one of my DraftKings lineups. Have to change that, and had him in all my fantasy or a couple of my fantasy teams. Are you still playing him? Now that
No.
we know MVS and
No.
Geronimo.
I'd still probably play him. I mean, if Geronimo seemed like he was going to be out all week and then comes in and is going to play, then he's probably going to be unlimited snaps.
Yeah.
And I think the connection they had last week, it might not be. I mean, I'd consider him as like a flex play. Not necessarily going to play him over anyone that's has like a good matchup, but
Yeah.
I feel like he's a hold. Like, I don't think you could start him.
I don't
who are
know.
they playing? I always forget
They're-
who everyone's playing.
They're playing
Oakland.
the Raiders, and
To
me, I think- I don't know. I think Kumaro, if you're gonna take the third wide out here, I think Kumaro over Lazard this week.
I guess the biggest problem with that matchup is that the Raiders might not score a ton of points. And so he might not have to be used very much. But then again, the Packers offense has not been putting anyone away. So
I disagree with the Kumaro thing because when Aaron Rodgers wants you on the field, like especially we've seen Matt LaFleur is going to be Aaron Rodgers' little bitch this season, like and make sure he makes him happy. I'm pretty sure Lazard's going to be on the field more than Kumaro.
Yeah, he wasn't last week. That's kind of what I'm basing that on. He played 88% of the snaps, and yeah, Rodgers likes him. We'll see if that holds up. Like you said, there's a lot of evidence that looks like LaFleur wants to be Rodgers' pet. So it's a good argument. But
Well, it's also Alan Lazard. Just like he didn't look incredible, but he looked like a pretty damn good wide receiver, and he is huge. He's a big ass target. All right, so final consensus. Like, what do you have him at? Like a wide receiver 4 this week?
yeah,
Probably, yeah.
3,
I'll
4.
put him at a
flex.
wide receiver 3.
jeez.
I'm gonna take the risk. All right, moving on. Melvin Gordon. This is depressing. My fantasy boys league team was looking unstoppable, and now it just looks really good. So, would you
Yeah.
play Melvin Gordon at Tennessee? I don't know.
I
Would you-
don't know. dude. I feel like he's gonna get outshone here by the bigger meteor Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's just gonna pull out his dad dig and just
Jesus.
fuck him up.
I know, dude. I love Derrick Henry. I love Derrick Henry this week.
Yeah, they're gonna
I-
run all over him. And I have a feeling the Chargers are not gonna be able to. Phillip Rivers just been bad in the
All
last
over the
couple
place.
games. I mean, I would still start Keenan Allen, obviously Mike Williams. I think Hunter Henry's a super solid play this week. Phil Rivers is blah, but I just don't. I always thought even when Melvin Gordon was doing well that like their run game was never really that good. It was always his receiving work. So I mean that could be a help, but he hasn't even really done that yet. He hasn't really done anything yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot out of him, and
Nope.
this is not. I still don't really know quite what to make of the Titans. I feel like they're a team where once you think you have them figured out, they come around and do the exact opposite. But the defense right now, I mean, it would be a shock if the defense didn't show up this week. But the Chargers do have some weapons. I mean, Mike Williams has been getting a ton of opportunity, a ton of air yards that he hasn't quite cashed in on. I mean, Keenan Allen's still there. They got Henry back. So I mean, on paper, this Chargers offense looks legit, but the Titans defense has been showing up. So it's all that to say that I still don't trust Melvin Gordon yet, but if you have him, chances are you're going to have to probably flex him, I would imagine. I don't know how many people have the luxury of being able to choose to bench Gordon, but it's not looking good right now.
Actually, I think not a ton of people, but there are, like myself. I feel like in most leagues I have Melvin, I do have the choice to bench him because you got him a little bit later.
Well, if you picked up someone like a Tevin Coleman or something like that, I'd play Tevin Coleman over Melvin
Oh
Gordon
yeah,
immediately.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I have Melvin Gordon and our next boy, Joe Mixon. Do you play Joe Mixon? I mean, he just became droppable in like public Yahoo leagues and money Yahoo leagues. That's how bad he's been.
I saw that he was droppable on ESPN too. Yeah, he plays Jacksonville. It's I mean I don't know. It's so confusing. That offense. Joe Mixon's one of those players that, like, when he came out, I loved like his talent and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He just has been susceptible to injuries, and has probably the worst offensive line ever, besides maybe Kyler Murray.
And the
Last
Jags, they're not the same, but they have a good D line. That's the one thing they have going for them.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I don't know. I'd almost rather start Joe Mixon than Melvin Gordon. That
I'd
might
rather
sound
start
crazy.
Melvin Gordon than Joe Mixon.
I
Unfortunately,
I figure most people would go Gordon, but Mixon,
What about Miles
he
Sanders?
still seems like he has a propensity to get short touchdowns.
Either of them.
Would you put Miles Sanders over both of them?
I would this week.
They play the Cowboys. I would probably. I feel like it's a difference of like all of them are going to get around like 8 points. It's. I feel like Joe's going to get a touchdown still. Somehow. I might go Joe still.
Yeah, I don't know why I like Joe just based on like the
The
kind of
Giants
who
defense
else
hasn't been
is
that
there.
good.
I know it hasn't been
Some-
great, but yeah, it's
Someone's beating their meat.
got a carpenter in the building.
They're
That's
painting.
it.
I don't know what you could be
Get
slamming
after.
when painting. I guess the
You got
painting?
me on.
Your girlfriend against the wall?
Jesus. No.
So
Definitely.
also, sorry, just bring up some news while we're talking about it. Two things that came out that I see. It looks like there's no TJ Yeldon today, so pretty good news for Devin Singletary and or Frank Gore, and Josh Norman is inactive.
Mm. He's
Oh, that
kinda
almost
washed
makes me want to
anyways.
start Niners wide receiver, but not really.
That makes me.
Yeah.
That actually makes me less confident in Niners wide receivers.
Yeah, because he's left the most points in like by any corner, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's been
It's
horrible.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, let's go.
Tevin Coleman's gonna feast in that game.
Just a reminder: David Johnson active, Allison MVS active, Christian Kirk is inactive, Devin Singletary, D.D. Westbrook, Raheem Mostert all active, Josh Norman and Trent Brown are inactive. So Devin Singletary probably gonna have a good week. What Cardinals wide receiver are you kind of looking for? I mean, obviously,
I
guess
mean,
it's
Larry Fitzgerald,
but like after Larry, who would be the
David
next one?
Johnson.
Yeah.
That's not a wide receiver for fantasy purposes, AJ.
I mean, the answer is. I mean, like it's a crapshoot. I mean, it's Pharaoh Cooper, Keyshawn Johnson. I mean, if you have to play one of these guys, where did your
Probably
league go wrong? Like,
Keyshawn?
where did your year go wrong?
Yeah.
What
It's
about
not
our
the-
fans that are in 32 team, 18 wide receiver leagues? I mean,
there is gonna most likely be a viable option come up. I mean, they're playing the Giants, and the Giants' pass defense is awful. This is when I wish Hakeem Butler was healthy because I feel like this is a matchup that Hakeem Butler would destroy in. But I'd probably go Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah.
He seemed like he had. I mean, he was out there the last 2 weeks. He was out there for 95%, 81% of snaps. He's out there running routes. Just got 5 and 7 targets the last 2 weeks. So I mean, 7 targets against the Giants is enough to get you at fucking 5 and 60 or something like that. Maybe a touchdown. So
Well, is Bird's healthy again, right?
Yeah.
Demir.
So, yeah, Demir Bird, maybe Bird.
They have so many fucking wide receivers that
So
are just
many.
no name young guys. Trent Sherfield.
No way. Who?
He's another wide receiver.
Good
That's what I'm
lord.
saying, man. I wish Hakeem Butler was. I really liked Hakeem Butler at Iowa State. I thought he was a freak athlete, and I thought he got drafted way too low. And so him going on IR at the start of the season was disappointing because I would have really liked to have seen him in this offense with him, Christian Kirk, and Larry Fitz would be pretty scary wide receiver core.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So moving on to our highlight of the week, we're gonna go Kramer first with the Atlanta Los Angeles Rams game. This is a game that could be disappointing. I actually can't. The Falcons are too bad of a defense to be disappointing.
Could be disappointing for me if my team, the Rams, don't go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So first off, I'll just kind of go through everyone's position. I think Jared Goff is a super solid start this week. I mean, I know it's probably hard to trust him after what he has done, but I think, as we've seen, the Falcons' defense is trash. They don't really have anything on. I mean, their D line's not good. Is Deion Jones hurt, or is he still playing? Their middle linebacker. I
They
think
have some
he's-
injuries, but I forget who. Let me look that up for
Keanu
you.
Neal's hurt. Their secondary already was not very great besides Trufant, and I think Trufant's down.
I don't know if he even
Um,
matters. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
he used to be. He's a little bit washed up now, but
Oh, they're missing Malik Hooker and Kenny Moore.
Malik Hooker, isn't that
it
the
looks like on the
Colts?
Colts.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. I was looking at Colts inactives. Sorry.
How is that even close? That's not even the same game.
Tony
Yeah.
has Houston in Indianapolis.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think you can start Jared Goff with, I would say, confidence, but I don't think people have a lot of confidence in right here
No, I'd play him with
in
confidence.
him right now. But Matt Ryan, I would also start in this game. The Rams, I mean, he'll probably get sacked a couple times, and I don't think Devonta Freeman is probably an okay play, but I would definitely go somewhere else if you could. The Rams D line has Aaron Donald, and that's enough to generally keep most teams from running, especially a team that hasn't been able to run the ball very well, like the Falcons. You might still get some receiving work.
Receiving work is what I'd be excited about.
Yeah. And I mean, it does seem like a game where they'll probably be on the 1 yard line at some point, and you might be able to get a freak touchdown. But then again, they might be stupid and hand it off to Ito Puke in my mouth Smith.
Well, I think they finally realized last week, like Dan Quinn clicked. That's like, oh, Ito Smith isn't good at football. It took
He's
me 2
bad.
years to figure this out.
Watch for the Falcons to draft a fucking running back pretty high in this year's draft,
Well,
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna fire the entire staff, so
Yeah.
we'll see who comes in.
So
Yeah. There's a lot of good running backs, so it would be interesting
There
to
is,
see if they
that's
got
true.
like Swift or Etienne. That would be pretty interesting.
Mm.
Todd Gurley is gonna be playing. I would still start him. I mean, if the game gets out of hand, which I think it possibly could, I think they're gonna start resting him because Henderson did pretty well last week. 6 carries, 39 yards, 6.5 yards per carry. So I mean, not incredible, but 6.5 yards per carry is not bad. And he looked a lot better than in the preseason when he was just running in the back of all of his fucking offensive.
Yeah,
But I
and Brown
think
is inactive, so
Yeah, I think Todd Gurley is a decent play. He's not going to be. He's still going to be kind of the same Todd Gurley. I think 14, 15 points somewhere around there. not getting you those past Tug Gurley days. Cooper Cup, automatic start. Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks. I think this game's going to be high scoring, so I think both of these guys. I mean, this game seems like one of those games where there's just people breaking loose for like 30-yard catches like every third or fourth play. Is it in the dome at Falcons?
Yeah.
Bottom team is home
Yeah.
team, right? Yeah. I always hate that. Why don't you just put a fucking at to tell me what the home team is? Bottom team is home team. Atlanta. So it's at the Dome. I think even Mohamed Sanu, Calvin Ridley, and Julio Jones are all good plays. The reason I was looking at this one is because I think like basically everyone is startable. And it just looks exciting to play
don't
these
think-
players. Maybe not the
Are
defenses.
you worried about Ramsey
Yeah.
or no?
No, I mean, Julio Jones goes all over the place. Ramsey doesn't tend to shadow. He stays on one side of the field. So I think they'll be able to move Julio Jones around. And plus, if Ramsey's playing, they're probably going to have to dumb down their coverages a little bit, which might help Matt Ryan a little bit because they can only, he only knows a couple calls. But he is probably going to shut down that entire side. So I would imagine they're going to play some cover 3, cover 6 with him guarding basically 2 people. And it works.
I'm so excited for Matt Ryan this week. He's been good all season. This secondary for the Rams is now Jalen Ramsey and pray to who else do they
down,
have?
Weddle's down, John Johnson's down.
Peterson is traded.
Yeah, there's their 3 other starting defensive
Peters
backs.
rather, sorry.
Well, Marcus Peters getting traded helps their secondary.
Yeah.
Because if
It
you
doesn't.
put
Peters
It
was
doesn't
so
though.
bad.
He was not good, but it doesn't.
Well, when Talib's back, I think this defense is really going to start. Because once you have like a solid shutdown corner that can like shut down your best wide receiver, and if he's able to go shadow people, and then you have Aaron Donald on the line, it's like, okay, you're going to get pressure and they're going to have to throw it fast, but you have a good corner that can not get separation within the first couple seconds. That's how I believe you win playoff games, but we'll see if they even make it to the playoffs. So,
All right. Moving on to Baltimore and Seattle with AJ. I don't know what insight he's going to give on this one.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I don't know what you're going to say
Throwing
because I have no
shade.
idea what to think about this game.
I mean, the way I think about it is that Russell Wilson right now is the best quarterback in the league. And I'm not worried about any game that Russell Wilson's in. He is going to keep his team in any game.
You realize Gardner Minshew's healthy, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
Okay.
hey, he plays Cincinnati. He might be a top 5 quarterback this week.
It's possible, but I'm not betting on it. The way I look at it is I think this is just going to be an awesome game between 2 awesome quarterbacks. And I think Lamar Jackson is going to be able to do almost whatever he wants against this porous Seattle defense. I don't think that they're good at all, and I just think it's going to be the Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram show. I just think they're going to tear him up on the ground, and they're going to. But I'm not worried about the pace of the game because of that, though. I think that it's going to be a back and forth type of game. I like the over on this game. The one thing that does concern me is Marlon Humphrey going up against Tyler Lockett. That's a little bit of a concern. But at the same time, Lockett just always gets his touchdown. In these type of games, he finds the end zone somehow. I like him. I like Metcalf this week. I like Carson as well. I just think both of these offenses are going to have, good games. And I love every fantasy viable option on both sides of the ball here.
What a year
Luke Wilson's a viable tight end, I think, this week too. Used to be in Seattle forever, and then he got cut and then came back. I think he'll probably get a touchdown because we always throw to our fucking tight ends in the end zone.
I can't believe that Baltimore and Seattle is an offensive game. Like,
I know. What a time.
It's been 20 years since that. We could say that. 30 years maybe.
Yeah. Sad.
All right. I mean, there's not much to go over then.
Yeah, I just like them both. I think it's going to be a back and forth game. And
How do you say
I love
Carson's
any
gonna do?
game. I just the reason I love games where the opposing offense against Seattle has the chance to keep up, because then that means that Pete Carroll can't put the governor on Russell Wilson, because he loves to do it. He loves to just like wait, and then he's like, "Go get him, boy," and then
Yeah.
runs out and then tears the shit up.
I think Lamar has a humongous game because I don't think Seattle's is going to stop him on the ground.
We do have Jadavion has looked. Well, I mean, he's kind of disappeared at times, but at times he's looked absolutely dominating.
I meant more of your linebacking core. I guess Bobby. I totally forgot about Bobby
Bobby
Wagner.
Wags, dude, the best
Uh,
linebacker in the league.
So actually, it totally
AJ
depends.
Rice is a solid one or linebacker too. So, but
I don't know.
But our
It just seems like in
secondary's weak.
recent games, your linebacking core in Seattle hasn't looked dominating, and it's like I kind of forgot that the names that are on that.
I think it's mostly because our defensive backs are so bad
Okay.
that they're kind of having to. I mean, when we had good cornerbacks, they were able to stay up on the line, make big plays on running backs and tight ends.
Makes sense.
But now they're kind of having to help a little bit more with wide receivers. Now the running backs and shit are easily getting catches out of the backfield. It's frustrating to watch.
All right. Before we move on to our next game, we have a question from Shrek City. I love this name. I've been getting different answers to this question all week, but pick two for PPR. So we have to pick two of the following: Gallup, Cooks, Carrion, John Brown.
I say Gallup for sure.
I'm going Gallup, and then if you want to go for the big week, Cooks. If not, I'd go John Brown.
Love John Brown this week. Love John Brown every week.
Then I think we should just. I would recommend Gallup and John Brown. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I go Gallup. I might go Gallup and Cooks, but I think Brown's a safer one. And Gallup should have a big enough game to support just going the safe route, I think.
Yeah. Michael Gallup, like, he's the for sure play out of that. I don't like carry on against the Vikings. Brandon Cooks is like, it's too risky at this point just because I don't.
I like Cooks in DFS, but
even in DFS, I don't. I
I
think
like
it's a
Cooks.
Woods game.
I like Cooks a lot, but I think it's an everyone game. But the problem is, I could see Cooks getting two deep receptions for like
Well,
80 yards, but I could see him also doing nothing else the entire game.
Well, this is what I was gonna say. In a super offensive game like this, I actually like Cooks a lot less because it's like they don't need to take a huge shot down the field. They can just throw the ball 5 times to Woods and move it and score a touchdown. Because Atlanta's not gonna stop that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the deep ball will hit every once in a while. I think Robert Woods is going to have a huge game because it's going to be like those intermediate 15, 20-yard plays, and then Cup will still have his little 9-yard routes that he runs every time.
All right, go ahead, Tony.
Mixing in Singletary in the flex, go Singletary.
Well, no, I think he was saying over John Brown or those guys. I would still go John Brown, Gallup.
Oh, yeah.
Houston, Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good offensive score. The Texans defense isn't really good against. They're not really in the top like half in anything really besides guarding tight. So I like Brissett, I like Mack, and I like T.Y. Hilton on the offense. Indianapolis' defense has actually been pretty good, and they're getting Leonard back this week, so I probably wouldn't play any of the running backs for Houston. Not that anyone should be
I'm
doing
starting
that anyway.
the Colts defense this week. Ask me about it in one of my
Why
leagues.
the fuck would you do that?
Sacks.
Okay.
He's only been sacked twice in the last like
5 games.
900 like offensive snaps or something.
The last 2 games or whatever, I think.
No, it was like 900 snaps or something.
It's been a while.
That doesn't seem right, though, because that would be like
That's like
the
half
start
a
of the season. And he was,
Yeah, I think we're
fucked.
almost halfway through the season.
I mean, like, he got sacked 2 games ago.
Yeah, that was once, right?
I'm confused.
No, but he's only been sacked. I'm saying he's only been sacked twice in like the last. That was what they said on the NFL Network. It was something crazy like. But anyway, Houston's actually been really, or I mean, the Colts have actually been really bad against tight ends. So you could probably like take a dart shot on Darren Fells or Jordan, and hope one of them gets a touchdown.
One of them's gonna do it.
And I think that I keep saying this every week, but this is going to be the week DeAndre Hopkins has a good game.
Fucking please.
Dude.
Well, Hooker's out, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
The cornerback's still out too. I'm not sure.
last
but-
week was so frustrating watching them throw to DeAndre Hopkins 4 yards down the field every single fucking time he got the ball. It's like he's DeAndre fucking Hopkins. Get him downfield. Holy shit. We get it. Will Fuller's fast. DeAndre Hopkins can also run downfield.
Well, you could have a game plan where you're like, we're gonna throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins every single snap, and you could probably win the game.
Yeah.
And it's like they refuse to even partly use that, which blows my mind. Like, he is, in my opinion, the best like wide receiver in the NFL. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how he is the wide receiver 20 right now in standard. That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. He's just not getting the touchdowns.
It's just
That's
crazy
the problem.
how bad do you think he's doing that he's like still wide receiver 15.
Yeah, that's true. All right, moving on to the Vikings in Detroit. I think I have some hot takes on this game. That's why I wanted to go with it. Kirk Cousins, we'll start with the Vikings side. Kirk Cousins, I think, decent floor play. He probably gets you at least 15 points. I don't think he's going to have one of those 3 or 4 point games. It seems like when we get in the red zone, Stefanski and Kubiak actually have some very interesting plays that they draw up for Thielen and Diggs. So I think every game, no, for sure every game, one of them has scored a touchdown. In most games, they've at least had 2. So Kirk Cousins has been pretty safe so far. Really just that Atlanta game where he threw the ball 9 times was the only time it didn't work out. But even then, Thielen had a touchdown. Dalvin Cook is where I get excited about this game. I think Dalvin Cook's the number 1 running back on the week. He could easily, like, I was kind of joking, but I could easily see him scoring 3 touchdowns this week, getting over 175 total offensive yards. Detroit is not good against the run. The Vikings, as we know, want to run the ball. But also on top of that, they've been pretty bad against defending running backs out of the backfield, and Dalvin Cook's great out of the backfield. And Kirk Cousins, on top of the Vikings having a lot of designed plays for Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins likes to check it down, so I don't know. I would be very excited about Dalvin Cook, especially if you expect that line secondary to play well against Thielen and Diggs. Thielen and Diggs, I think you start both of them. I don't want to tell you not to start either. I don't think anyone's not going to start Thielen. Maybe some people are thinking about Diggs even after the big week, but he could easily have a bomb touchdown this week. So that it's really going to be up to you if you still feel comfortable. I can't give you much insight. There's not much rhyme or reason to it. He looks to be getting more targets. It's trending upwards. If you guys remember the hot take that he's going to be a wide receiver 1 starting last week, and it's looking good so far. Moving over to Detroit, Stafford you can play, and that's because every quarterback against the Vikings has ended up being a quarterback 1, and the reason for that is not necessarily the Vikings D playing bad, but it's either
Rundy.
the Rundys looked great, or we get up to a big lead and we let the opposing quarterback kind of just drive down the field for the last 2 quarters a couple times, like we did with Wentz and Matt Ryan and all that. So I would play Stafford if you need him, but
Yeah, I think he's a solid play this week.
yeah, 2 QB league, like, he's fine. Carry on, if you could pivot somewhere, I would not touch Carry on in this game. The fact that he averaged 2.6 yards per carry against that atrocious Green Bay defense, run defense, mind you, and now he's going up against the front and linebackers that the Vikings have, I'd be not excited to play Carry on whatsoever. And obviously, you're not starting any other running back. Kenny Galladay's a fine play. Marvin Jones, to give you my feel, Marvin Jones, I'd rather play Stephon Diggs than Marvin Jones for sure, like 100%. But if you're really in a pickle and it's him versus a guy, let's say like a Duke Johnson or even Carlos Hyde, that's where I start looking at Marvin Jones over them. again, wide receivers have been playing okay. If you watch the game, it's not because our corner or the Vikings corners have been playing badly, but more of, garbage time where we're so good against the run, the other teams are throwing, so you're going to get yours eventually. And that's your wrap. So,
Does
Dalvin
this
Cook.
feel like a
must
Thanksgiving game?
Well, I mean, we played the Lions on Thanksgiving 3 years in a row, and this is the first year we're not in 3
I was
years.
gonna say this game, like these games that are like in the domes and that seem like are gonna be moderately like high scoring, just seem like Thanksgiving Day games.
They do. Unfortunately, you have to watch Chicago and Detroit on Thanksgiving instead. So exciting.
Oh, that's gonna be awful.
Yeah, it's going to be like 7-0. All right, so we finally have the standings for who has a better week. In first place right now at 15-10 is yourself, your host, the best analyst, Matt, 60%. Number 2 is Tony at 57%, 12-9. Kramer's at 5-7 because apparently he doesn't like coming to our live streams at 41%.
Did I miss 2 of them?
You've
I know I missed last.
3.
I was I?
Yeah.
I was yammed last weekend, and then I saw the stream. I was like, I'm too fucked up to be on this stream.
Well, it's okay.
And then I
Tony
saw the
came
stream,
up
and I was
really
like,
fucked up.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
last
I
week.
guess I was fine to be on this
You're
stream.
definitely fine, dude.
And then AJ at 7-13, wrapping up at 35%. I do want to toot our own horn a little bit. I mean, all of these are either 3 or 4 players, so you're looking at a 25 to 33% chance if we didn't know what we were talking about, and we're all above that. And no offense, AJ, but Kramer, Tony, and I are all statistically significantly above that. So hopefully we can give you guys some good advice.
I make my money elsewhere.
It's true, AJ. I'm kind of, you're 35%, but you also have made the most money this year, so we can't really get mad. Number 1, we got 4 quarterbacks. We got Danny Dimes, even though apparently some people don't like that nickname. I like it. Kyler Murray,
I don't know how you can hate that.
Dak Prescott,
Anyways.
and Jared Jeff. I guess we always go top to bottom. We can go bottom to top. Tony, which QB are you going with?
I think I'm going to go with Jared Goff just because Atlanta's just so bad.
That makes sense. That's good analyst. I'm going to go with Kyler Murray. And alongside Tony's analysis, the New York Giants pass defense is not good. And by not good, I mean atrocious. Like Miami's level atrocious. And Kyler Murray's just, he's getting better and better and better. And they're passing more and he's running more. And I see this as a huge week for Kyler. All right, Kramer.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely between Kyler and Jared Goff. Danny Dimes is not really. I don't even. So the biggest thing for me is if I think the Giants are going to be able to stay in the game with the Cardinals. I actually think the Cardinals are going to win this game pretty handily, and that could bring Kyler's ceiling down a little bit.
Yeah.
But his run, he could totally run one in today, and then that's a huge difference already. But I think I'm going to go with Goff still, just because I think that game's going to be a shootout, and they need to win this game. So if Goff doesn't play well, it's going to start feeling pretty shitty.
What about you, AJ?
I just want to take a moment to reflect that you said something positive about Kyler Murray.
Oh, no, yeah.
I just think that's great.
I don't think he's a good quarterback, but he's going to be
Hey,
great for fantasy for years.
Remember at the start of the year when I said he would be better than Cam Newton?
Well, if Cam Newton never got hurt, it would
They're
be
literally
He
crazy.
was
everybody-
trash when he was playing.
Yeah. Well, because he was hurt. No, I meant like he's been hurt the whole season. He hasn't been able to run.
But anyways, I think I'm gonna pivot here. I'm gonna go with Dak Prescott just
yes,
because
someone.
the Eagles secondary is just not good at all. It's not good. The thing that does kind of concern me is that this is a huge game. Both sides know how huge it is.
Is this a night game?
It would.
Yeah,
It is.
Sunday night.
It's going to be
It's like-
awesome.
Very underwhelming.
It's going to be a sick game.
14-17 or something like that.
It could, and it's so, and it's. I mean, it could go one of two ways. I think it could be this this division smash mouth game where it's not high scoring but it's super physical, or it could just be a shootout and everybody's happy. I'm banking on the shootout. I just don't see how the Cowboys don't light up this Eagles secondary, and I think the Eagles can match that production on the other side, even though they're still missing Deshaun Jackson. I think that they can have success on their side of the ball, but at any rate, I think Dak Prescott lights them up. But I like every other guy on this slate that we have here as well. But Dak is my choice.
I dropped Dak Prescott for Josh Allen in my other league right now. So
Why?
Have you seen Josh Allen's upcoming schedule? It's ridiculous.
I see it, but like you couldn't drop anybody else.
I only have one quarterback. I don't need two.
All right. I was gonna say if you didn't bring that up, AJ, I was gonna say actually Dak would be my number 2 behind Kyler over Jared Goff because
Wow.
I see the Eagles. Like I think they're all three gonna have good weeks, but I think Dak and Kyler have the chance for the 40-point, 30-40 point game. All right, running backs. The top line again: Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, or Saquon. We'll start top to bottom. AJ, you gotta go first.
Yeah, it's I don't know how you can go against Saquon this week. I guess because it's coming off an injury, and you could be kind of concerned about that. But
Arizona's run defense, dude, they're stout.
This is so juicy for Saquon. I don't know how it's. I'm just so excited for Saquon this week. David Johnson, though, decent play as well, of course, and Dalvin Cook, obviously another awesome play here. But I just think that this is going to be all Saquon, and I think he's got 30 points written all over him.
The only fear I have is that, like, if he isn't fully healthy and he goes out there and he gets his big run and stuff like that, he gets a big run and has a couple snaps and he's playing some downs and then he just kind of goes out for a while and sits on the bench. Go ahead.
I don't think that's going to happen. I would be worried about that if it was like Thursday and Friday he played, but since the beginning of this week, he's been full participation. He was literally limited last week. Like, the guy's insane.
Yeah. I know. It's just like too fast. That's what scares me. Is like, how is he coming back this fast?
You have to think of Saquon like Adrian Peterson. And, like, this is an actual thing. There's an article that I read a while ago about how they found a gene in Adrian Peterson that they find in 1 in every 2 million people about how their body just straight up can heal faster than humans should. And I'm sure Saquon
fucking
has
regenerated his ACL.
Yeah.
And steroids, probably. But
well, yeah, of course. But, like, you have to the reason him and Saquon are so muscular on top of it is because their body can heal the muscles quickly. I'm sure Saquon has the same gene.
I wish I had that gene. I would get so shredded.
Sure,
Trying to get them Saquads going, man.
Who are you going with?
I'm going Dalvin Cook. David Johnson and Saquon are both interesting, especially since they're playing each other. But because they're playing each other, that could possibly take one of them out of this, equation, and then it's David Johnson versus Dalvin Cook and Saquon versus Dalvin Cook. I would be more afraid of Saquon being higher scoring than Dalvin, but I think Dalvin's going to do pretty well. He might not have his crazy 130-yard rushing game, but I could see him, 80, 90 yards in a TD or two.
Yeah. I mean, as you guys know from my talk about the game, Dalvin Cook, I'm not going to waste your time on it. Tony?
Quad God.
You're going Quad God. All right, moving on. I did a last-minute pivot with the wide receivers because some last-minute information about actives kind of changed and made it an obvious pick, in my opinion. So instead, we're going to go with 3 guys that have very good matchups 2 guys who have very good matchups, and a guy that maybe suckers you in. Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett, T.Y. Hilton. They're all close on DraftKings. And which one would you go with? Tony?
T.Y. Hilton, no doubt. It's the wrong person.
Oh, true. I'm gonna go with Robert Woods. I think this is a Robert Woods 15 target week. As long as he gets 1 touchdown alongside those 15 targets, I think he outscores Hilton. I don't think Hilton has a bad week by any means, but I would choose Robert Woods to be in the top 5 this week in wide receivers. I wouldn't say the same about Hilton.
It's this game in Seattle. It is. Shit.
I know. I try.
Tyler Lockett comes up so big at home. He always comes up so big at home, and this could be a 2-touchdown game.
Do it.
Hilton, Woods. I've been saying Woods has been my favorite, but the Seahawks just spread the ball around so much.
I already put Lockett in. Just say it.
Fine, I'll go with Lockett.
Yes, Kramer's gonna get a loss there. All right, AJ.
I'm probably gonna go T.Y. Hilton.
All right. Finally, we get to the tight ends. We have Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, Zach Ertz. Kind of a classic. We're not going with the bottom tier this week. I want to try and see, for DFS plays, we're not taking into account money, but which one of these three are you most excited about? AJ, you can go ahead and start.
I mean, I like Auden Tate a lot this week.
What
He's
does that
been
have to
getting.
do with tight ends? Wrong thing. We don't. But I do like Auden Tate.
Are you? Where are we on the agenda? Have
he
we talked
changed
about?
it. He changed it
I
because
changed it.
Oh, well, that's cool. So who am I talking about?
You're talking about Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, and Zach Ertz.
Darren Waller, I think. I like you said, Matt. I'm kind of inching towards your belief that the Green Bay defense certainly is not what it's kind of what the perception is
Raiders are gonna win.
as far as
this
the
game.
public goes. So I think Waller is going to have 10 targets, and it's looking pretty juicy for him.
All right. What about you, Cream?
I'm going with Mark Andrews. I think, although the Green Bay defense is, I agree, not as good as people think. I also think that Derek Carr has shown that he'll just absolutely fuck up in games. I think this might be one of those games where he just can't get anything going and be a little bit frustrating to watch. And then Ertz is interesting against the Cowboys defense, but I feel like, oh God, see again, I got to check the home team. It's in Dallas. So I feel like if it was in Philly, I'd feel more confident in Ertz, but I'm going to Andrews.
This one's tough for me. I make these lists. I made it tough on myself. I love Darren Waller and Mark Andrews this week. I don't like Zach Ertz at all. This is, I think we agreed upon at the start of this half-point PPR. If it was full PPR, I'd probably lean Waller, but half-point, I'm going to go Mark Andrews.
I'll almost definitely get a touchdown against the Seahawks. That's
Exactly. That's how I'm
guaranteed.
looking at it. Darren Waller, he struggles to find the end zone, even though I think he might have 20 targets this game, especially with Tyrell still out. But we'll see. Tony?
I think I'm going to go with Andrew. Because between him and Waller, I just don't think I don't think Ertz has the upside of the other guys.
All right. So there you go. Recap. I went Kyler, Dalvin, Robert Woods, Mark Andrews. Tony went, my name is Jeff. Quad God, Hilton, Mark Andrews. AJ went Dacky P, Saquon, T.Y., Waller. And Kramer went Yef, Dalvin Cook, Lockett, Andrews. So we'll see how we do this week. If I keep my lead over Tony. Now for our new segment that we have been doing. It's the DraftKings segment. We go ahead, we go on DraftKings, on stream, make a lineup, win money like we did last week if Will Disley didn't get fucking hurt. Jesus.
Still won at 50. I played in a couple of.
Oh, no, yeah. I still won $30 with that lineup, but I would have won $40 off of $1 tournament if Will Disley scores me 10 points and Mark Ingram doesn't disappear in the second half. That sucked. Anyway, let's create a lineup. This is where a cool transition would come in, but we don't have those here.
You know what we should have playing the whole time is the fucking NFL films music.
It is a beautiful song. All right, where do you guys want to start with this? I say we start with the easy point, and
You
that
got to
is-
start defense.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say you
get the
pay up
defense and the
the
tight end out of
Bills.
the way.
I say we pay it for the Bills.
I think
What about the
yeah,
Niners?
I'm not. paying
Niners.
for
I think is a good pick too. I think tight end you should go Hunter Henry.
What about the Saints defense?
Nah.
No, not you're scared of the Bears offense. I understand.
Yeah, dude, I'm terrified.
Is Case Keenum playing? I guess I'm just
Yeah, I
looking
think
at
he
it.
is. He's the starter.
He is playing. That's why I'm not picking the 49ers. I think Case avoids sacks, avoids interceptions better.
Yeah, I feel like you might as well just go Bills.
What do you get? Oh, AJ again with his water at 9:21 every morning.
God forbid.
All right, let's do it. Let's go Bills, and then tight end. We can have a little bit more argument. So it's like I love Ingram this week. Like I think he's a wide receiver one, but he is at 6,500. So
Like I'd rather go Andrews if you're gonna, you know.
yeah, or Hunter.
But
I mean
I
Hunter
think,
Henry at
I
4,000.
think Hunter Henry is a better pick,
yeah.
just price wise and everything.
AJ, you're the DFS master.
What about
what's your
Gerald
opinion?
Everett?
No, I'm not.
Oh, dude,
I mean,
touching
I don't want to talk over anybody. I mean, Henry's obviously a fine play. It's tough because like the flow chart tells you go Ingram, but he's so expensive. I like Andrews a lot this week against Seattle. Like I said, that was like one of my favorite games, and I like the idea of stacking Lamar and Andrews. We'll see if we can get Lamar, but I like Andrews a lot this week.
True, that stack would be good.
I don't know if I like stacking him this week.
What about Hawkinson?
Oh God. So he can drop balls.
Against
Yeah.
against the
Noah Fant.
The Vikings
Terrible.
do give up a lot of tight
Yeah.
end points, but Hawkinson also drops a lot of footballs. I don't know. All right, what do we do next? Want to go running backs, QBs?
did we go with Andrews? Is that who we want?
Yeah,
I
we
think you
went
should
with
just
Andrews.
throw Lamar Jackson in there.
Yeah,
This
I'd
is-
say just plug him in.
I'm worried slightly
There's
about
some
What
Lamar
about Josh Allen?
not having a great week.
Yeah, Josh Allen is obviously great too.
Jacoby
Jared
Brissett's on the
Goff,
cheap
yeah.
side.
Jared Goff at 6,200. Yeah, Brissett's cheap as shit too.
And Minshew's really cheap. Wow.
I put Minshew in a couple of lineups. I mean, you got okay. So let's break this down. You got the top guys. You have Lamar, Kyler. I think you'd play. I don't really consider Josh Allen because of his price and the fact that I think they'll just run the ball.
With the rushing yards he could get, he could have like a 300, 100 game.
But why even
Are we
risk getting hurt?
disrespecting Russ by not even bringing him up here too.
Russ is not in conversation. Then you got Jared Goff at 6,200, and then you got the cheap guys like Brissett and Minshew. Those are the ones I'm looking at.
I think Matt Ryan's a smash play, but everybody here is
Yeah.
just kind of all grouped together. It's strange.
Yeah.
Everyone's at like 6,000.
All right, let's do our running backs and stuff and see how much money we have. All right.
I already know who Matt wants to put in
We're
there.
playing-
So
I
just
wanna-
put him in
Yeah,
there.
I mean it's he's like a must.
Saquon.
Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs is like a plug-in.
Oh, I was talking
and
about
set it
Dalvin
and
Cook.
forget it.
Yeah, well, Josh Jacobs, I was 100% playing in there. I want to put in Dalvin Cook, but
I like it.
do
Let's
you
do it.
guys do we go YOLO and put in Josh Jacobs, Dalvin Cook, and Saquon?
I think so.
I think
Full
we kinda
YOLO?
have to.
Let's go full YOLO. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
All right, wide receivers. We have an average of 4,700 left, and we don't have our quarterback, so
Let's go. Oh my god.
we may have to pivot off the Bills and Mark Andrews.
Debo
I know.
Samuel's out, so let's just putting that out there.
Thanks.
What? So yeah, let's get a Niners wide out. Who's cheaper, Pettis or Goodwin?
Marquise
think
Goodwin
Pettis-
is
Pettis is.
4,800.
He's 45.
Pettis is 41.
Cole
That's what he
Beasley
wants.
is not a bad play. I think at 4,700.
I kind of.
That's expensive.
I kind of like Pettis this week, but
I think Pettis is someone that we're kind of don't have a choice as far as like the salary we're left with.
yeah. going back to wide receiver. After we put in Pettis, we have $49.50 remaining per player.
Jeez, we gotta get cheaper.
Auden Tate's at
Auden
45.
Tate, we got to go with Auden Tate. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to. It doesn't really get to the other cheap options. There's two other cheap options I like after Auden Tate, and it's Duke Williams for Buffalo because Zay Jones is inactive this week.
He's on a different team, actually.
Darius Slayton.
Is Shepard inactive?
Yeah, he's out.
Yes, he is.
All right.
Call me crazy, but you could switch Barkley with Singletary. I think Singletary's going to have a huge week.
Yeah, I love Singletary too.
I do really like Singletary.
And that saves us a lot of money.
All right. We're doing it. Fuck you, Saquon. I hope you don't do shit this week. All right. Devin Singletary's in there. Now all of a sudden we got money. We got money to spend. Woo. All right.
I think you take Julio Jones.
No.
It's the Rams.
I think we may backtrack here on one player and try and get Hilton and Robert Woods in there.
Yeah, that would be good.
What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with putting Woods and Hilton in a lineup.
Yeah,
Would you rather take out Auden Tate or Dante Pettis?
Pettis probably.
All right, and then we put Ty, and now we got 6,100. What quarterbacks do we have left? Ooh, that eliminates all the quarterbacks we wanted. This is what I mean with DraftKings.
No, 6,100. We got.
Well, I'm talking about the top tier. It's like every time I make a lineup, I'm $100 off the guy I want because here it'd be easy. I take Jared Goff at 62, and we're 100 away.
If you switch the Bills for the Niners, you could do it.
The Bills for the Niners. But Case Keenum's gonna go off. This is gonna be the week that I'm proving.
Start Case Keenum at quarterback. There you go.
Oh man.
You start Danny Dimes.
What do we do, AJ? You're the master.
So we have what 6,100.
Yeah.
For Daniel Jones.
We could either go D Jones or we could move San Francisco and then grab Jared Goff or Matt Ryan.
I think you can switch the defense.
We got to get the defense switched. Got to.
All right.
Yeah.
Go 49ers.
Can we afford Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could
By
go
a lot.
Okay, we can go Jacksonville at 35 and then go Lamar. We can go anything now.
Lamar.
Okay. A Lamar gets shouted by the crowd in the background.
Lamar, dude, Lamar is Lamar.
All right,
is just like the
Lamar
floor
in.
and the ceiling is there
Lamar
for Lamar
in there.
Jackson.
It's because of the bonus points, right? You guys want that 100 rushing yard 3-point bonus. I get it.
Dude, it's insane.
He's like the 5th in rushing yards of like the entire league.
Yeah. All right.
It's so stupid.
So
He's gonna
lineup.
get hurt.
Oh, fuck you guys.
150 in one game.
To recap, we have Lamar Jackson, Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs, T.Y. Hilton, Auden Tate, Robert Woods, Mark Andrews, Devin Singletary, and the Jaguars defense. We're going to throw them in to some tournaments. We'll go
Love it.
$1. Where's my single entry $1? That classic. Put them in a couple other ones. But any closing thoughts?
There are just so many smash spots this week.
This is my first ever DFS lineup. So
Really?
Wow.
let's win some cash.
Hell yeah, brother. I'll put them in. I'm putting them basically one in every kind of doing a casual 3-player, doing a tournament, doing a multiplier. Then we'll do a double up.
Double up.
I have a lot right on this lineup now.
I love it. I love how quickly things can just escalate.
Casual $3 double up. Hey, it's guaranteed price. No one's in it. Fuck. Alright, there you go. Nobody get hurt. All of you. I'm looking at your faces on DraftKings. Lamar, Dalvin, Josh, T.Y., Auden,
I
Robert.
have to take a picture of this so I
Marky.
remember it.
Devin, and Jacksonville. None of you fuckers get hurt.
Don't jinx it.
Please. This is actually very close to the lineup I made. I think my lineup had Kyler instead of Lamar, and then instead of Singletary, I can't remember who was in there, but it was somebody else.
Sick.
All right. I think that wraps it up for this week.
Good work, everybody.
Oh, let me go over the inactives for everybody. And myself, because sometimes I get surprised. Where are all the inactives? For the 1 p.m. kickoff, here we go. On the Raiders-Packers, Trent Brown is out. Zay Jones is out. Arden Key's out. Tyrell Williams out. So those are some important ones. Important to note for the Packers, MVS and Geronimo are active, so my Alan Lazard play in DraftKings no longer is exciting. Devontae Adams is out. Darnell Savage at safety is out, so that'll be interesting. Rams, Falcons, Malcolm Brown is out. Clay Matthews and Kenny Young and Bryce Hager are all out. Austin Corbett isn't going to be put on the line just quite yet. That rhymed. Falcons, Desmond Trufant's out. DJ White's out. Everything else is pretty healthy. They just suck. Dolphins, Xavier Howard's out. Startup to John Brown's. The rest doesn't matter. Bills, TJ Yeldon. So we know Devin Singletary's going to be getting those carries for our lineup. Jaguars, Bengals. Marquise Lee is inactive, so DJ Chark, maybe? Oh, I think that's who I had in. I found a way to fit in DJ Chark in that kind of lineup. Anyway.
Didi would be
I like
interesting too.
Yeah. Jeff Swaim is out. Bengals, AJ Green still out. Shout out Kramer. William Jackson, Drake Kirkpatrick, Carl Lawson. Jesus.
He's got that.
Oh my
Waiting
God.
to switch roster flu.
The Bengals defense is all out. Carl Lawson, Drake Kirkpatrick, William Jackson. Carl Dunlap. Oh, fuck. We're making one more lineup after this. Everyone stay tuned.
Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette, DJ Chark, and Gardner Minshew. Vikings. Brett Jones is out. That's the only starter. Then Lions. Mike Daniels is out. Trey Carson is out. Deshaun Hand is out. Another reason why I think Dalvin Cook's going to be number one. I forgot to mention that. Look at Texans Colts. Bradley Roby's out. Nobody else. Colts, Malik Hooker, Paris Campbell, Tyquan Lewis, all very important outs. Cardinals, Giants, Christian Kirk, DJ Foster out. Look at the Giants, Sterling Shepard is still out, and that's pretty much it. 49ers, Washington, last one, Debo, as we said, is out. Akil Witherspoon is out, so maybe Terry can score more. I don't know. Mike McGlinchey's out. That's kind of a big deal, as well as Joe Staley, but Shanahan will somehow figure out to get running back points anyway. Washington, Vernon's still out. Chris Thompson's out. Colt McCoy is out. Oh, does that mean, is what's-his-face back? Or did he retire?
Alex Smith.
No, the tight end. Oh my God, what's his name?
Reed? Oh, he's out.
Jordan Reed.
Yeah, he's just not even on the report.
Like a year.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
okay.
like out the whole year with the concussion. I think.
All right.
Sprinkled, bro.
Oh, that's the wrong thing.
Jimmy's.
That's going to wrap it up, unless you guys want to make a Jaguar-centered lineup.
I put Fournette in a lot of lineups.
Yeah, I could see it. I'm going to probably edit some of these. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Peace.